Hello again, and welcome to another episode. I hadn't planned on making another episode this trip. It's a relatively short one, and a couple of the things that I wanted to get done was, of course, to set that front door that I made back in Colorado. I got that done, and then I needed to do some mowing, and I've kind of got that. I've made my major paths through here are pretty much mowed. I think the minimum height of the grass was about waist deep, and there was some of it that was all the way up to shoulder depth. So I've got some paths made through here to where I'm not collecting a bunch of ticks walking through the tall grass. But I'm not finished with that yet, and I hope to. Any extra time that I had planned on spending that time installing siding. My plans have really kind of changed. The one thing that's a little different this year from the past couple of years is the weather conditions have been just about ideal this spring, which is a good thing. What it's created is a foliage on the trees that is denser than normal. So what that means is I've got more shade down here. The branches are drooping lower than what they normally do. So working in the shade, it makes for a pretty cool work setting. The negative side of it is solar, and the solar system that is up at the cabin, I knew in the summertime I wouldn't get full sunlight, and in last summer I know that I had to be a little bit fussy about what I ran at certain hours and such, but generally if I'd have an hour or two of sunshine that had hit the solar panels, I'd be in good shape to get them to full charge. This year the leaves are dense enough that they're not seeing sun at all during the day, which means that I'm not getting good charging on my batteries up there, and I'm having to run generator an awful lot, which I don't like listening to a generator. I'm getting kind of soft the further along that I come with this project. So my priority changed from putting on siding to putting in the electrical pipe, and then with the electrical pipe also is my sewer line. They run together in the same ditch. Here's the sewer. There, of course, is the electrical. I want to try to, probably not on this trip, but on the next trip, get the wire pulled in all the way up to the cabin. And then I'll go ahead and backfeed the cabin from here, because I got good solar here, good solar exposure, no trees in the way, and that sort of stuff. And I've got way more than I'm even coming close to using here. So that'll help me out a lot at the cabin. And then that solar system up there, I'll probably use it down in the well house or the spring house, or maybe move the solar panels and just add them to the array that I've already got. Haven't decided. So far, I've got everything laid to grade. About a 2% grade, which is 1/4 of an inch to a foot, is what it averages all the way down to the septic tank. So that's good. I've got 2 clean outs in the line. I've got, I guess it's a total of about 120 feet to get to the septic tank. I have approximately 200 feet of conduit in the ground. Now, I think a little more than that. I don't recall how much I originally bought. I think I originally bought 170 feet of 2-inch line, and then I've had to buy another 40 feet on this trip, which would put me a little over 200 feet. Before I get to ordering the wire that goes in there, I want to get a good measurement. I have to check my fish tape. I think it's a 300-foot fish tape, and if that's the case, I'll go ahead and push the fish tape all the way through here, mark it, pull it back out, and get a good solid measurement for how many feet of wire I'm going to need before I go to buying it. I don't mind buying an extra 10 or 20 feet of wire, but at the price of wire today, I don't want an extra 100 feet laying around that I don't have any use for. I've got most of it bedded, at least supported from the bottom. I've got one more bucket of bedding that I need to put in. There's a spot where the conduit actually crosses the sewer pipe farther down there, just because of the way I made up the corner. I've got about I think it's about a 30-degree bend, which I was able to do with a fitting on the sewer line, but you want as straight a line as possible with this electrical conduit. There can't be any fittings in between. So I've got a little bit of bedding to put in there, then I'm ready to start backfilling. I apologize for the way I look. I wasn't even going to try to stay clean today, being on my knees, gluing things together, and a lot of this stuff is really wet yet. You may have seen that the backside of this house I backfilled with red dirt, which has an awful lot of rock in it, so I tried to keep that directly away from the pipe as I was backfilling. Before I can do any sort of grading at all, though, I'm going to have to pick up a bunch of rocks, and I've got a hole on the other side of the building where I can dump them in and make use of them. Also, on the other side of the driveway is just an SDR 35 sewer pipe, and a lot of it's pretty shallow, so I can't drive on any of that. That section over there, it's just something that I'll be grading for the next couple of years. As the rain comes and settles the dirt into the ground, I'll fill up the hole and come in the next year and probably do the same thing. This up here, even though it's a really high lift, I can probably do some amount of compaction along the back side of the house and get it to looking a little better. And then I haven't got any grass seed right now, but once I get some more grass seed, I'll go ahead and spread some topsoil here and get this seeded. That LB on the electrical is not glued in. It is just on here loose, and I won't glue this on until I get the wire pulled through it, because it's over 200-foot runs, so that's going to be kind of hard to pull the wire through to start with, and I don't want to make it any harder for me than I have to. Time to carry on. I will go and check my fish tape and see if it's a 300-footer. If it is, I need to dig up the other end because it's slightly underground. And once I get that dug up, I'll try to set that fish tape through here and get a measurement for how much wire I'm going to need. Now, the power company is out front doing some clearing today, so I got a chainsaw running out there every once in a while. I dug up this end. I'm up near the cabin now, just behind the cabin, about 5 feet from the cabin, I guess I am. As I recall, 170 feet is what I bought back last September, and 40 feet on this trip, so that's 210. Got a 90-degree elbow on each end and about 3 feet of pipe sticking out of that, so I'm thinking I'm going to have about 220 feet. And I looked at my fish tape. It's 240 feet long, so it should be just long enough, unless I have forgotten how much pipe there is in the ground. We'll see. Well, it stopped, so either I'm in a bad spot or I'm at the other end. So I'm going to go open up the LB on the other end and see if I'm there. If I am, I'll go ahead and mark the fish tape, pull it out on a long straight stretch, and get some measurements on just how far in I am. Now, the one thing I had to go in and grab my gloves. The longest pull that I've ever had with this fish tape is 170 feet up to today. So once I got in there a ways, the tape started getting greasy enough, it was getting slippery, and I couldn't push anymore. So I had to get some gloves so I got some grip back. So I'll go check the other end. I'll be right back. Well, the bad news is I'm not there. Good news is there's only about 25 feet left on my reel. So that means I'm in 215. So I'm probably hung up on the elbow on the other end is kind of what my guess would be. I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if I had to dig it up down there to end up making my final pull. I'd rather not have to. But that's where I'm at. I'm going to do some prodding and prying around, see if I can maybe some more jiggle in here, see if I can get it the rest of the way in. Well, I stuck the other fish tape in the other end, and I can feel this one. It's in about 4 feet. Unfortunately, I did a whole bunch of playing around and I wasn't able to hook it. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and mark this fish tape at about 4 feet out, which would be about the end of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and reel it up. I'll try coming in from the other end and see if I have any better luck. Plan C didn't work either. In fact, I probably came about 2 feet short of where I did coming from this side. So took a break, had a beer. I got time for one more try before dark. Well, plan D, my harebrained beer drinking scheme actually worked. I've got it through the other end now. That final 4 feet, I was able to take my other fish tape and hook that loop that I made and pull it the rest of the way through. So it actually was fairly easy to do. I wish that I'd had that loop on there the first time that I tried, clear back in plan A. So all I got to do is mark my fish tape where it is, but before I pull it out, I'm going to run into town and get some synthetic twine or something that I can tie off to this and just leave in the pipe so that I don't have this problem the next time. I am usually fairly successful. In fact, most of the time I'm successful on my first try, so this attempt was a little bit hard on my ego. I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. It's going to take a number 1 gauge wire to get from the barn to the cabin here, and that I'm going to end up picking up in Cheyenne. I can get it a whole lot cheaper in Cheyenne than I can get it anywhere around here or Denver. So that'll be on my next trip, or maybe a couple trips away, something like that. But I'll get a piece of twine through there and I'll have that set for the next time around, so it'll be a little bit easier. I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye. Stop.